On your mark, get set. Let's go. Good morning. Welcome to the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. We're 5 minutes past the hour. Glad to have you all with us. We are stacked and packed with some great sports talk as we take you on a 120-minute journey of the best sports talk show in the region, across the nation and around the world. We welcome y'all watching via both Snowman Multimedia YouTube channels as well as the Shady Sports Network YouTube channel. We welcome those of you listening on WIRU-DB in Chicago, WQEE in Atlanta, KSOS in Salem, Oregon, WLEO in Baltimore, and our newest station, WJKS in Indianapolis, Indiana. Now here's the take. Chicago Bears, you just proved to me why you will forever be in the position that you were in. Because you traded a quarterback that you wanted to develop, needed to have the right people around him. And you got a 6th round pick in 2025. And based on Fields' playing time, it could turn into a 4th round pick, which gives me the clue that they're going to draft Caleb Williams. Why? Why are y'all making this move? All this is just another quarterback for the Chicago Bears to ruin. Matter of fact, I will say it this way, and a lot of people are going to there are a lot of people whose feathers are going to be ruffled, but I don't really care. I don't care. Let me say it this way. From a native Chicagoan who has watched the Bears, courtesy of my parents, for years, they have never had a franchise quarterback. I will say that again. As long as I have been watching football, and the first year I've watched football was 1980, then fell in love with my beloved 49ers since 1981, they have never had a franchise quarterback. Ever. And I know Victor's going to bristle at me. I'm going to have him on tomorrow. Don't bristle at me with Jim McMahon. Do you know how oft injured Jim McMahon was? All Jim McMahon did, and I want you to find the lie in my next statement. All Jim McMahon did was ride Walter Payton, Matt Suey, and his teammates to the Super Bowl. The same argument that people are saying to me about one Brock Purdy. That's a 2-parter, and I'll do that later this week. Oh, by the way, the Bears had one hell of a defense, which I loved. So, hey, why not? Now Justin Fields is gone. Your best chance at a franchise quarterback, you just told him adios without giving him the tools, the coaches, the coaching, and the weapons. Like I said last April during the draft, and we'll have live coverage of the entire draft this year, the Chicago Bears, with the trade that they executed, mortgaged their entire future for DJ Moore. What? Now you get Keenan Allen from the Chargers, who's 31 years old, has a lot of miles on his leg thanks to Justin Herbert and company. You get DeAndre Swift. You finally get the bell cow running back that you want, but you don't have Fields to turn and hand the ball off to him. If I were the Chicago Bears and I draft Caleb Williams, I tell him, look, all you do is turn around and hand the ball to DeAndre Swift. We're not going to depend on your arm. We're not going to depend on your legs. You're going to learn how to play quarterback, because he didn't learn at USC. Hell, in many ways, he didn't learn at Oklahoma. But back to Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been ruined by the Chicago Bears. He's the latest quarterback in a long line of quarterbacks. Let me say that again. Justin Fields is the latest in a long, long, long line of quarterbacks to be ruined by the Chicago Bears, by the McCaskies, by the coaching staff, whatever the hell you want to call it. Best coach they've had there since Mike Ditka was Lovie Smith. And Lovie Smith could get the best out of you. Lovie Smith could get the best out of you without blinking. He nearly took the 2008 Bears to the playoffs, but you lost to Houston in the final week of the season and choked that away. Oops. And to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I say, which Justin Fields are you going to get? Which Justin Fields is going to show up on a week-by-week basis? Now, they've already made the announcement that Russell Wilson is the day one starter. I tend to think that is not going to happen. Because for some reason, the peer pressure is going to get to them, and they're going to bring in Justin Fields to spot start. Justin Fields is a spot starter. He's not a full-time starter like the Bears made him to be. Not even Jay Cutler was the Bears franchise quarterback. That moody bleep, bleep, blank, blank, blank. Now you got rid of Justin Fields and traded him to Pittsburgh for what? One pick? Is that how much you devalued Fields? Is that how much you thought of Justin Fields when there was much talk that he was going to stay and y'all were going to get him some weapons and y'all were going to do right by Justin Fields? And when this trade happened, a lot of people thought that they did right by Justin Fields. I got news for you. No, you didn't. You did not. And will not ever do right by Justin Fields. These are the Chicago Bears we're talking about. Who the hell has ever been their franchise quarterback? Tell me. I beg one of y'all to tell me in the comment section or text the text line, who has ever been the Bears franchise quarterback? Ever? Well, the answer is pretty simple, because they had never had one. They never had that quarterback who was the guy. They've never had him. And at this point, they won't have him until they get rid of the 300-pound mannequins they call an offensive line. Justin Fields has been ruined because they saw a couple of good games from Fields, including a playoff game against Clemson, which they lost, by the way. And they thought, hey, let's trade up to the 10th spot and grab him. Knowing they did not have the tools or coaches in place to develop Justin Fields. Now Fields is going to languish on the bench in Pittsburgh forever until they get tired of him riding the bench, until they get tired of him riding a hole in the bench, until they get tired of him, and until they get tired of the bad Justin Fields that keeps showing up on spot starts, because I guarantee you there's going to be a spot start this year for Justin Fields. I could be wrong in that guarantee. I'll face the consequences from the fans later. But I guarantee you there's going to be a spot start by Justin Fields, and he will not be ready. Just the same, Caleb Williams is going to be handed the keys to an old 1991 Toyota Corolla, which I've had, and not going to know how to even run the jalopy, let alone an offense like a Philadelphia or a Kansas City or a San Francisco. I even had some ridiculous soul tell me that if Justin Fields were in San Francisco, he'd run that offense better than Brock Purdy. Are you out of your rabbit-ass, rat-picking mind? And I leave y'all with this. Justin Fields is all about himself. He's not all about the team. He never has been all about the team and never will be all about the team, which is why his ass is on the bench and will remain on the bench until he clears this up, his head, between the ears. And the same thing goes for Caleb Williams. You should have kept Tyson Bagent and allowed him to be the starter. He moved the offense better than any quarterback that I would see that I saw from the Bears, including Jay Cutler in the past 10 years. I said it, Tyson freaking Bagent. The Bears quarterback room, or the Bears quarterback list, I beg your pardon, is starting to look like the Cleveland Browns since they returned in 1999. The only consistent quarterback, and I use the word consistent very, very loosely, was Jay Cutler. That's the only consistent quarterback that they've had in the past 10 years. And it took a miracle to have that happen. And I don't even give Jay Cutler the credit he deserves, because in 2010, they had the NFC Championship in their house against the Green Bay Packers, a team they should have beaten on the last week of the season, but old Jay Cutler threw a pick, which sealed a 10-3 loss at Lambeau Field. They had already won the Central Division, or NFC North Division. I still call it Central. I don't care. They had won the Central Division. They secured home field advantage for at least the first 2 rounds. The top seed got knocked off, which means the second-seeded Bears played the 6th-seeded Packers for the NFC Championship, and they allowed a 50% Aaron Rodgers, meaning he was injured, to walk down the field and sock them in the mouth and kick him in the ass. And they haven't recovered since. And that was with Jay Cutler at quarterback. And you're going to trust Caleb Williams to run that offense? Even with a brand new offensive coordinator and Shane Waldron? How long will Shane Waldron last? My other question is this: how long will Caleb Williams last? You need to sign a stopgap. And this is me making this suggestion to the Bears of signing a stopgap quarterback while they allow Caleb Williams to develop. Hey, you know what the crazy part is? The Bears have had nothing but stopgap quarterbacks since 1986. And they will continue to have stopgap quarterbacks until they get some coaches in the house that actually want to develop them. And that actually starts up top when the McCarthys decide to sell the team to someone who's competent in football and tell everybody bye-bye. Everyone's saying Ryan Poles making moves. No, he hasn't, because he hasn't made a significant move to help this team. Are you kidding me? So get out of my face with this Justin Fields talk, and get out of my face with this Caleb Williams talk. Look, I used to live in the state of Missouri. I am 51 years old, and these 4 eyes have one simple sentence: I will believe it when I see it. That's Snowman's take. What is yours? The Irish coffee man himself, Mr. Ryan McCarthy, has joined the fray on this Monday morning. How are you, my friend? Good to have you.
I'm doing pretty good, my sir. About yourself?
I'm great, man. I am great. All right. I'm going to give you the floor and let you get your Jets frustrations off your chest.
Oh, I'm not frustrated. I'm not frustrated.
Oh, you're not frustrated?
No, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do want to challenge you this.
All
the
right.
Bears have had a franchise quarterback.
I'll bite. Whom?
Sid Luckman. 4 titles in the 1940s.
I ain't that old.
I just wanted to see the look on your face. I just wanted to see your reaction. I know
That
Vic
name
a lot.
actually,
Some
that
I know
name
Vic a lot. Some
actually.
goers like who?
Oh, hey, that's my answer also. I get it. I get it. And I love it because I know people will say, well, what about Sid Lutman? I'm only 51. I don't know who the hell
I
Sid
know.
Lutman is.
I'm only 46. I just looked it up. I knew that name was familiar. I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah.
Luckman? Yeah, I knew that name was familiar. Had to
All
look it
right.
up.
What's in the brew this morning?
Oh, I finished my coffee a while ago, but I had myself some Invader OG Invader coffee. Had some
Nice.
K-cups, available, but undergoing renovations at the old homestead here, which are just about complete. And
Good.
got ourselves a nice brand new kitchen. So
Good.
it's great. Yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
Very good. All right. You want to talk free agency with the Jets? What happened?
All right. So apparently when Aaron Rodgers speaks, the Jets had to listen. So they went out and got themselves some offensive linemen to help help I'll say veteran offensive linemen. But it's every fan was expecting Joe Douglas to make a splash in free
Mhm.
agency, and this is not the year. This was not the year.
Right.
They've done they've done the last 2 years, picking
Mhm.
up Alan Lazard and Lincoln Tomlinson, who is see you later. Um,
Mhm.
CJ Uzama. I know you said who? Yeah, CJ Uzama. Ty Conklin. They weren't. I don't think they were going to make the splash in free agency, and they really didn't need to. The only thing they really needed to concentrate on was getting some depth on the offensive line because that has been the one bugaboo for Joe Douglas since he came on board
Right.
in 2019.
Mhm.
He's nailed every other position. He's nailed wide receiver in the draft with Garrett Wilson. He's nailed running back, Brees Hall. I don't know who's happier right now between Brees Hall and Aaron Rodgers with the guys they've signed. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of remaining healthy because they had
Right.
13 different offensive line combinations last year. That's
Yikes.
unsustainable.
Yikes.
So hopefully Tyron Smith stays healthy. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
I'm hoping. Yeah, they bring back Morgan Moses for a four. They not only did they
Who?
have Morgan Moses
Who the
right
hell is
tackle,
that? Oh, right tackle.
yeah, right tackle,
Okay.
But they dealt a 4th round pick, but they got I think a 6th round pick in return in addition to
Mhm.
Moses, so they actually gained a little bit.
Yeah.
Bringing John Simpson to play left guard,
Mhm.
and then so the line is solid. You just got to remain healthy.
Right.
That's the biggest concern. And yeah, apparently they're not done. I guess Mike Williams here. Okay. So Joe Douglas, hear me out. Hear me out. My bald bearded elite brother. Hear me out. Stop bringing guys who are always injured. Mike Williams, wide
Mhm.
receiver.
Mhm.
He's always on the IL.
Yeah.
Always on the IL. And apparently they're hosting Jadeveon Clowney for a tick for a week or for a couple days. I guess he's visiting this week. So
Oh boy.
we'll see what
Isn't he
we'll see
done?
what
Isn't he
happens
done
there.
yet? Isn't he done yet?
No,
Jeez.
he had a pretty decent year with Baltimore last year. I think he had 9.5 sacks and had a bunch of tackles, but it's line depth. Bryce Huff wound up going to Philadelphia, which
Mhm.
I was a little sad about, but he's a homegrown guy who was undrafted.
Right.
And great year. I mean, you can see his development over the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And last year was just an amazing year.
Mhm.
But they just couldn't afford to keep him. And Philadelphia was willing to throw the bag at him for 3 years, 51
Mhm.
mil. I say go get it. From where you were in
Yeah.
2020, he was undrafted, an undrafted free agent in 2020, and has slowly developed in one of the best edge pass rushers, I think, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so I say, to which I say, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss that dude on the offensive on the edge. But yeah, a couple studs with Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. who
Mhm.
I think are going to be the best 1-2 combo in the edge, hopefully in the next 5 years. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a I would say a quiet free agency period for the Jets, but I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
needed some offensive line help. They got the offensive line help. Let's see if they can get a complimentary receiver, a veteran complimentary receiver who's not Mike Williams, because I don't want to see him on the training table every other week.
Every other week, right.
And I'm just curious to see what they do in the draft. It's what, 40 days, 40 plus days until the draft.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of curious to see what they do at number 10, or if they're willing to trade down or trade up and see what they get. See what they get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird. I figure this is going to be a weird off season with the lack of big names and that they're going to bring in.
Mhm.
But I'm just curious to see what's going to happen in the draft, because I think what's going to happen was that the Jets are going to trade down because they don't have a second round pick.
Right.
They give that to Green Bay.
Mhm.
So I think if they trade down, they can swap draft positions with somebody and then get a second round pick out of it. I'll be
Yeah.
happy, and they
Yeah.
pick some more offensive line depth, or see there's a wide receiver, because this draft is going to be quarterback, offensive line, and wide receiver
Wide
heavy.
receiver.
It's just going to be that kind of draft.
Mhm.
So if they can get a complimentary piece for Garrett Wilson, I'll be happy with that. But
Yeah.
my concern is I want to see them get. I mean, they're going to trade. I saw a tweet. Did you see this tweet from Damian Woody about what he
No.
said about the 2021 draft class?
No. What'd he say?
Please find the button and hit that quote button.
Oh, boy.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
All right. Damian Woody said, quote,
Quote. Those quarterbacks in the 2021 draft got traded for a ham sandwich. Close quote.
do that again.
Quote. Those quarterbacks in the 2021 draft got traded for a ham sandwich. Close quote.
Damian Woody.
Stop it. Get some help.
He's right though. Mac Jones.
He is. He is. He is.
Mac Jones to Jacksonville for a sixth round pick.
6th round pick. Yep.
With Justin Fields go to the Steelers for a conditional 4th. Zach Wilson's probably next to the Zach Wilson's a very conditional 4th round pick. It's going to turn to a 6th round pick if those conditions don't get met. Zach Wilson's on the trading block. I don't know who's going to take him. Maybe the CFL, maybe the Arena Football League. God bless whoever takes him. So we'll see if there's any takers on him. I doubt it.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I did hypothesize during last season.
Banish him to the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. With the quarterback with the quarterback injuries and all that stuff they've had to have happen to them last year. No, I
Even
would wish that upon them.
Have him sit behind Trey Jones in Edmonton.
Trey Ford.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trey Jones.
Well, Trey Ford. We'll get in line because Malik Henry, formerly of the Albany Firebirds, is in camp this year too.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh jeez. What else you got on your mind this morning, sir?
Yeah, I figured out I was today years old when I found out that Caitlin Clark was in the Albany bracket for the NCAA women's tournament.
Yep.
And I may have to get myself some media creds and see what days. I don't know what the days are for the games. I'm just looking at the bracket. Friday and Sunday. Okay, so if they win, if they advance out of their group, that regional will be probably Friday and Sunday.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Friday and Sunday, because they play opposite of the men.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They play opposite of the men because the men play Thursday and Saturday.
Right.
And then actually, oh man, I just thought of this. I'm glad I'm looking at this. The I don't think they've announced the times for the women's tournament yet. They haven't, but I'm guessing it'll go Friday through Monday. The men go Thursday through Sunday because some play Thursday, and then some play Saturday, some play Friday for the men. So the women will go the opposite, Friday through Monday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedules right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, no. Actually, yeah, live research. No. Iowa hosts the winner of the play-in game.
Yep. And that's at Carver Hawkeye.
That's Saturday. That's Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday.
It's a Saturday game, and then I believe they have it's a Saturday Sunday. Unless I'm wrong. I'm just looking at the schedules.
Yeah.
It's on the 4-letter network.
I'm doing some live research myself.
Yep, 3 p.m. Saturday, ABC. They play the winner of the
winner of the first.
Where the play-in game.
So, I will be doing the first 4.
Okay.
I think it's on campus. It's Sacred Heart and Presbyterian, then Vanderbilt and Columbia on Wednesday. Thursday's first 4 goes Auburn, Arizona at the McHale Center, and then Holy Cross and UT, my favorite, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna get access to that so I can just do those. So I can just do the first 4. I think they're gonna stream. I think it's on the Plus too. I believe it is. Would you check? Are all the games on the Plus also? If you could check that for me real quick.
I would suspect if they're on ABC, ESPN, or ESPN2, they're also going to be on the Plus. But I'll double check.
Okay. Please double check because I want that Iowa game.
Yeah,
Iowa.
Let's see.
I'm following Iowa for the women and Northwestern for the men.
Yeah, well, this Saturday's game at Iowa is on ABC, so I suspect it would also be on ESPN Plus as well. They didn't say on the schedule, but it would have to be on ESPN Plus as well.
So since that's on ABC, I think I can grab access through them. Okay.
Yep.
I will have Iowa playing the winner of their play-in game. Dag nabbit, wrong screen.
Is that Presbyterian Sacred Heart?
No, it is Holy Cross and UT Martin that will go to Iowa City.
All right, sorry.
That is Holy Cross and UT Martin that will go to Iowa City.
Okay.
South Carolina gets the winner of Sacred Heart Presbyterian. Can't talk this morning.
It's the fancy Scottish words. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, those are the only first 4. Sweet. Okay. Those are the only first 4. So I'm going to be quite busy, to say the least.
Yeah.
Now,
but I'll have to see if I can get myself some media creds for.
Go get them, man.
Whichever the bracket they're in. Yeah, because I mean, I do photography. I want to do some photography. I want to do a lot of photography, which I haven't done since 2022.
Are they playing old Knickerbocker Arena?
Yes, they are.
Knickerbocker Arena.
Yep.
Now, another note that Mr. McCarthy gave me. They got some problems with the Yankees. Have some problems.
They're in trouble.
Big problems. They are in serious trouble.
They're in trouble. And it looks like right now the skinny is that Garrett Cole's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. He's being shut down for 3 to 4 weeks, and they're going to reevaluate.
Oh boy.
The prayer circle. I mean, the prayer circle has worked thus far. The Garrett Cole prayer circle has worked so far.
Thus far, yes.
But I'm cautiously optimistic that he can be in the lineup in May. We'll see. But I do
What
not.
is exactly the injury that he's dealing with? What's the
It's
injury?
nerve. It's nerve inflammation in his right elbow or his right
Ooh,
forearm. I think it's the same
ooh.
injury Masahiro Tanaka had when he was having his arm troubles back in 2014, 2015.
Mhm.
So he didn't have to have Tommy John surgery, at least right now. But if
He's
you're a Yankee fan, keep the prayer circle going.
and he's
Because
I think he's looking at Tommy John. That's nothing against him, but I'm just so familiar with how those injuries are because I've seen and worked with a lot of pitchers and I've called a lot of games.
Mhm.
That injury is tricky.
Yeah. So
Any
right
injury
now,
with the elbow, is it his throwing hand?
it's his throwing arm. Yeah.
That I don't want to say this aloud, and I know the Yankee prayer circle is going, but
Power through it.
I I think he's lost. And
I
I don't want to say it aloud, but we're talking about about an injury that is very significant.
Yeah, because I mean, well, also he's your defending Cy Young Award
A
winner
young
too.
winner. Mhm.
Yeah. So this is your current rotation for the New York Yankees. Nestor Cortez, who fell off last year.
Yep.
Carlos Rodon. Good Lord. Clark
You know
Schmidt.
what? Carlos Rodon was damaged goods when y'all got him from the Giants?
He
Because
was
I
a
didn't
free
know
agent. He was a
The
free
White
agent
Sox
last year.
traded him to the Giants
Yep,
because he
and
was
then he was a
damaged
free
goods.
agent. And he was a free agent and wound up signing with the Yankees, but I think he didn't get his first start until I think August of last year because he was having so many back problems.
Yep.
So Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, who is okay, and Marcus Stroman, who I would have liked to have in 2017 when he was lights out in the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
But
Hadn't done a doggone
32-year-old
thing.
Marcus Stroman.
Hadn't done a doggone thing since. Not since his days with the Blue Jays.
No, and which leads me to think that either Dylan Cease is off the market now. He got traded to the Padres,
He's
and
in
one
San
of those
Diego.
and one of those pitchers that they got in return was a Yankees prospect that they sent to San Diego for Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a number 5 or number 8
I
prospect for the Padres.
think it was number 5.
So Dylan Cease is off the market, which leaves you Blake Snell. Look out. And Jordan Montgomery,
Jordan Montgomery. Mm-hmm.
who was a former Yankee, got traded for Harrison Bader's spare parts. Harrison Bader's now with, I believe, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was a I wouldn't say it was a terrible trade, but if Harrison Bader could have been healthy, he would have been like that. I think it would have been great for the Yankees, but couldn't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you bring back Jordan Montgomery on a 1-year deal for 20 mil, 15
Maybe.
mil? I mean, there's no salary cap in baseball, so
No, there isn't.
you
You
need an
know
arm.
who's in line? You know who's pursuing Blake Snell right now? The Astros.
Well, if there's one team that can help him out, it's the Astros. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
problems he's had, because he hasn't been good since Tampa Bay.
Yeah, since 2020.
Hasn't been the same since he left Tampa Bay and went to San Diego. So he's streaky as all get out.
He is.
And
But just imagine that rotation with 2 lefties.
Well, now you got
Blake
3
Snell
lefties. I mean, with the Astros rotation. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought the Yankees rotation.
Blake Snell, Framber Valdez. I don't know if Verlander's coming back, but man, I'm gonna scare some people this week because I am actually gonna start talking a lot more baseball. Yes, man. A black man talking.
Whoa!
baseball.
Hold on. No. You didn't do it right.
Go.
Wait a second. A black man talking baseball?
Excellent.
And by the way, since we're on the topic of New York media teams,
Yes.
New Jersey Devils ain't going to the playoffs this year.
Damn.
Yeah, they fell off big time.
Damn.
Yeah. I know that tickles Wise El Jefe's fancy because he hates the Devils.
Damn.
So, but I hope the Rangers lose in the first round. Like last year.
Emotional damage.
Thank you, Stephen Hay.
Yes. Oh, gracious. All right, my friend. Love you very much. Thanks for stopping by. As always, that is Ryan McCarthy. All of our guests appear via the Invader Coffee Global Guest Line. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. No credentials required. Me and Dustin are back talking more. We're continuing to drink from the fire hose that is the NFL free agency market. We actually might talk a little bit the fact that Clayton Clark might be coming to Albany. We might talk a little women's basketball too. So we don't know.
Have fun.
Yes, sir.
If you got a spot for me, let me know. Have fun because I'll be covering the women's tournament. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Jay Spivey joins us to talk all things NCAA tournaments, men's and women's tournaments. Good afternoon, Jay. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's March Madness time, man, and it's time to talk about the NCAA tournament. But I want to start with a question, and this is what Jason Joseph brought to us. Should the first four be a thing?
I have no problem with the first four. I know it's a money grab, but I wish they would do it differently than the way they do it. To me, they ought to do it. If they're going to do the first four, it should be the last 8 teams that got in.
Mm-hmm.
That way, they earn their way in. Instead of doing this every year, it's the same teams from the same conferences. Where it's the MEAC and the SWAC and the Northeastern Conference and one or two others. And to me, if you say you earn your way in by winning your conference tournament, and those teams did, then let them in the tournament automatically. Now these eight teams who are fighting for 4 spots, let them fight for it in the first 4.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll never do that because most of the time they're big conferences.
Yep. Most of they're most of the Power Five.
If you would have done that with it, probably from what we've heard yesterday, from who got left out, it would have been the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Big East probably.
Yes.
And they're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that.
Why do you think they're not going to do that?
It's all about money. Now, would you rather have, I really don't think Virginia deserves to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, would you rather have Virginia in, or would you rather have Howard or Hampton or Grambling or somebody like that? I mean, I hate to be picky like that, but
Virginia's the draw. And like you said, I don't think they deserve to be in.
To me, and these kids like in the MEAC and the SWAC, you never really gain automatic entry. They don't get the experience. They don't get the experience like the other conferences do.
No, they don't. They don't get the experience, and they don't get the exposure either.
I mean, if you play tomorrow night or you play Wednesday night and you lose your first game, I mean what? I mean, you get to go to Dayton. Whoopie do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not like playing in the tournament. It's not like the experience at all.
It's not. It's like it just seems like another regular season game, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it's always the same. It's almost always the same couple, 3 or 4 conferences.
Mm-hmm. And again, for me, the first 4, and this is why I said no, the first 4 just seems like another regular season game that they added on to the end of it after they've been through a regular season, they've been through a conference tournament, and no matter the result, they get an extra game. And I don't think they've earned an extra game.
They saw that CBS and Turner were willing to do it, and that's another however many $1 million more extra.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it.
And of course, that app is out now.
Yeah,
where everybody can watch for free, but all you have to do is press a boss button in case your boss comes in, and then that's the end of that. To the women's tournament, and how big is the Caitlin effect going to be for the women's basketball tournament this year?
Well, somebody's on that committee must not like Caitlin or Iowa because they got by far the hardest regional.
Yep,
they got through. They got to go through Murderers Row every night, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Except for the first round, they got to go through UCLA. They have to go through LSU. Connecticut, I believe, is in their region as well.
I mean, it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
And I can see where somebody's on that committee, whether it be men or women's committees, would have some jealousy or envy for all the exposure she's gotten. But that's not her fault. She's doing nothing but helping the women's game.
And they don't see it that way.
No.
They don't see it that way. No. And it's wrong that they don't see it that way. She's done nothing, like you said, but help the women's game. But the jealousy, and we've talked about this before, Jay, the jealousy is very, very real.
Very much so. It's so palpable. You can just sense it, no matter whether you hear people say it or read people what their comments are. You can see it through anybody's blind eye.
Yep. I didn't get a chance to see the brackets last night, and you know how big I am about body language with people. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I've had so many people texting me this morning while I was on my drive to pick up my daughter that the jealousy look on their faces when they did that bracket, that part of that region, I beg your pardon, was crazy. And I believe it, with all the attention Caitlin Clark has gotten, the records that she has broken, and I want to talk to you about that in a minute. She's done nothing, as you said, but help women's college basketball really get on the map for the first time, I'd say, since 1993 with Cheryl Swoops and company, and even before that, in '82, their very first NCAA tournament.
Well, I know you and I've been talking about it for a while, and I've been talking about some other people, but I've heard the last couple of weeks, even what you would consider men's college basketball fans, or even I heard Tim Legler, who's an NBA expert that night, talk about she's his favorite player in all of basketball. And everybody says, well, I would rather watch her or good women's college basketball than men's college basketball because, first of all, the quality is not nearly as good as it used to be. And two, at least for women's basketball, for the most part, they're going to stay 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
I mean, they might go into the portal. They're probably going to go in the portal, but at least they're going to play 4 years.
Exactly. They're going to have their fundamentals down. You and I have talked about this for the length of time that we've been together on the show. The fundamentals in women's basketball are more sound than men's basketball.
No question.
They're more fundamentally sound. And I got my wife asked me this morning, am I covering the women's tournament? You better believe I'm covering the women's tournament. The team I'm going to follow is Iowa. I plan to do both Final Four games in the national championship, but given the growth that I've had in the past month or so, I'd be stupid not to follow the Hawkeyes, especially in that murderous rover region. Yeah,
they did her neither her nor Iowa any favors.
They don't want her. They don't want them to win.
And I generally don't care who wins because I'm a Wake fan. They never get in.
Right.
But I generally don't care. But I'd like to at least see Iowa get to the Final Four.
I'd love to see it. I have them winning it all. But if they do get to the Final Four, I already know one of the teams they're going to see is Dawn Staley in South
Oh,
Carolina.
absolutely. Yeah.
One of the teams they're going to see is Dawn Staley in South Carolina. Speaking of South Carolina, how about those Gamecocks rolling in undefeated into the tournament?
And this is what you were, by talent-wise, yes, team-wise, they're really, really good.
Mhm.
This is not one of her more talented teams.
Right.
She had to replace everybody from last year. Now, probably the next 2-3 years, they're going to be like really dominant. I mean, that's scary to even think about what they've done there for this year.
It is. It is to roll through the season undefeated. The only scare they got was in the SEC tournament against Tennessee, then the championship game with LSU, and they may see LSU again in the Final Four in Cleveland. Let's go back to a point that we've talked about before, and I will continue to harp on this because I'm a big time advocate for women's sports, especially women's college basketball. Why won't they play it in stadiums? The Final Four, that is.
Well, why are they playing? They're playing the regionals in 2 different cities, and it's not even 2 big cities.
No,
they're playing the regionals in Portland and in Albany, New York.
Who selected those?
Really?
Who selected those? You can't tell me. You mean to tell me since they're going to play everything in 2 cities, Portland, Oregon, and Albany, New York, you mean to tell me you couldn't flip that Albany regional to Indianapolis and fill up Lucas Oil Stadium? What?
Well, if Iowa makes it to the Final Four, you tell me you couldn't fill up a dome somewhere?
It's sad that they're really, really saying that message. It's sad that they're, just putting that out there they're just putting that out there. The committee doesn't,
they would never do that for men. They would never do that for men's basketball.
No,
never.
They won't.
And you're going to put them in. I understand why they did it and put them in 2 regionals because it helped the crowds, but you can't at least put them in 4 regionals now and in larger facilities.
You mean to tell me they won't fill up? They couldn't fill up the United Center in Chicago? But I will tell you this: if the women's basketball tournament ever played Chicago, they wouldn't play the United Center. They play Wintrust Arena. A little over 12,000 at Wintrust Arena instead of putting it in front of 24,000 in the United Center. You mean to tell me that if Caitlin Clark is in the regional and you're hosting it at the United Center, that you couldn't get SRO at the United Center?
No.
Especially given the fact that Iowa City is not too far from Chicago. I made the drive.
Not she, but Iowa has sold out every non-neutral game this year.
Yep.
Home and away games are all sold out.
And a couple of those arenas, they set records. Like, I don't know, Ohio State perhaps, and Columbus. State. There has never, even for the men, there have never been a crowd of 18,000 plus in the Schottenstein Center. Caitlin Clark shows up and you got SRO.
And TV-wise, you've got some of the most watched games of all time with her playing.
The live stream I did for the Big Ten Championship with Nebraska and Iowa is my most viewed video with almost 5,000 views. And a lot of that came in the second half.
I haven't seen the game times for the women yet, but I'm assuming since I know you and I have talked about this before too, but since ESPN can't show Big Ten games, I'm going to guess they're going to show Iowa quite prominently this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. ABC has the first Iowa game, and it's Saturday.
That explains all you need to know.
Yep. It's Saturday. It's Saturday at 3:30. The fact they put that on
big ABC tells you all you need to know.
It's behind a paywall, and you know it. Why are they doing this to? I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. Why are they doing this to the women's game? Why are they doing this to the women's coverage? I beg your pardon. That they're putting it's supposedly on free TV, but they're putting it behind a paywall.
Which game you talking about the paywall?
Iowa.
Well, if it's on ABC, it's not on the paywall. ABC's national.
True.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's probably why they put
Okay.
it on
Okay.
ABC
I
to
misunderstood.
get more eyeballs
Yep.
on the game.
Yep. I misunderstood.
Because even in this age of cable cutting and
Mhm.
people streaming everything, it's still you probably don't get more eyeballs on ABC than you would on ESPN.
Yeah, like they did last year in Dallas with LSU and Iowa for the national
Absolutely.
championship.
Yeah.
You couldn't play that at 7:00.
Well, apparently they're still going to play on Sunday afternoon again. I don't understand that.
I don't understand either.
Well, yeah, another thing, I was about ready to say this. They've done this last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years now. Where years ago they used to announce the women's brackets on Monday night instead of Sunday night.
Yep.
Keep
Now
doing it
they're
on
gonna
Monday
do-
night because, I mean, they announced the women's brackets at like an hour after the men's brackets were announced last night.
Mhm.
Now, you tell me who's going to really care about the women's brackets at 8:00 on Sunday night?
After the men's bracket had already been
There's
announced.
absolutely nothing on TV tonight. Show the
Right.
women's brackets tonight.
What do you think prompted them to make the change?
It's ESPN.
There's my answer. Right there. There's my answer.
They run the women's tournament. They can do pretty much whatever they want to do with it. I don't understand why you do the women's brackets the same. I mean, not even the same night. You did it an hour after the men's brackets were announced.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't care how hardcore fan you are of women's basketball.
Yeah.
Who's gonna pay attention to that after the men's brackets are announced?
Nobody. No one's going to look. And that's crazy. And that's crazy to
People
me.
just not going to care.
Mhm.
Now, meanwhile, tonight, if you had it tonight, you could talk about it ad nauseum because there's absolutely nothing on tonight.
Mhm.
But yeah, they are adding a couple NBA games I saw, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad the way the women's game has been treated.
Well, at least it's a little better than it was the year of the COVID when I guess it was San Antonio where they got treated royally poorly.
Oh, it was bad.
Horrible.
It was bad. It was bad. And I hope I never, ever see that again.
It's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. I hope I never see that again.
Well,
Ever.
I knew a couple of the girls who were playing for a local college because I covered them in high school, and I saw some of their comments, and it was just, I wouldn't say disgusting, but it was just, they shouldn't be treated that poorly. I mean, come on, it's just as much money as the NCAA's making on these two tournaments. Come on,
Mhm.
show some common decency.
Who are we talking about that runs the broadcast of the tournament again?
Well, I mean, who's
Not me.
outside of FIFA and the Olympic? I mean, the Olympic Committee.
Mhm.
Who's more corrupt than the NCAA is?
Well, that's about all you can say about that.
We just recently saw the World Cup. That was about as corrupt as you can get by playing in the Middle East. Whatever.
Yep.
You're building gigantic stadiums in the middle of the dead summer. It was 150 degrees, and you're
Mhm.
taking money left and right from these oil barons who treat women and kids and other minorities as poorly as you could possibly be treated.
Yep.
And then the Olympic Committee is as corrupt as anybody could possibly get.
Mhm.
And there's nobody that talks out of both sides of their mouth more than the NCAA does.
No one. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it, man. And it's awful. It is god awful the way they're being treated. It's awful. It's crazy. Your thoughts on let's switch gears. Your thoughts on Justin Fields being traded to the Steelers?
I'm a little surprised he got traded to the Steelers, but it sounds like there was not much of a market for him.
No, there wasn't.
And then the Steelers just absolutely cleaned house at quarterback in the last week or two. I mean, they started with Rudolph, Pickett, and Trubisky. They're all playing with other teams now.
Mm-hmm.
Or going to play with other teams now. And then you trade for Russell Wilson, and then 24 hours later, they trade for Justin Fields.
What is wrong with this picture?
That's
How
crazy.
are they going to handle it?
This
How are they
so
going to handle
anti.
this?
You follow the NFL like I do. It's so anti-Steelers to do stuff like this.
It is.
They usually are so under the radar. You never hear anything that they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you see these moves and you think, what? The Steelers are making these moves. The Steelers are being active.
And not only are they active in the trade market, they're active in the free agency market.
They're active. Yeah, they're absolutely active in the free agency market now. As far as the quarterback position goes for Pittsburgh, how does this benefit them?
Well, if Russell's any good, and who knows with the way he's played the last 3 years, that has if they fix this offensive line, which apparently they have with some of these moves they made, I mean they could be pretty good. But they did trade. Well, it sounds like it was like addition by subtraction by getting rid of Deontay Johnson. Of course, what does it tell you that he goes to the Panthers? Shocking. David Tepper again.
David Tepper again.
David Tepper.
Is he ever gonna get booted out? No. Okay.
No. Don't want he ever get.
I know the answer to that question, but I had to pick the low hanging fruit. I had to.
It took an army to get rid of Jerry Richardson after what he did.
It did. And that's bad. It's bad that the Panthers have been set back so far. And
I don't care.
Like you said,
I don't care how much money. I don't care how much money David Tepper has. He's a bad owner in every sport he owns.
Which free agency signing has surprised you so far? Good, bad, good surprise, bad surprise, whatever.
I wouldn't say I'm not going to say one particular, but I will say, for whatever reason the market and for whatever, I guess it's more analytics. As you know, I loathe analytics.
Oh man,
on how much disrespect top-notch running backs get. Especially the first day or two of free agency last week, when they were signing left and right. I mean, you look at Barkley and Derrick Henry and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't have seen that in the last couple of years.
And then the tampering charge, the tampering charges were alleged.
Well, even if that is the case,
and for Saquon Barkley.
Even if that is the case, I mean, what are they going to do? The Eagles, punish them like it was a 6th round pick or something.
What? I don't know.
Or give Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, $1 million fine. Do you think he cares about $1 million fine?
Drop in the bucket.
That's nothing for him.
Big time drop. It's a drop in the bucket.
These NFL owners are making money hand over fist. I mean, I think I may have told you this, but I told somebody this. When they came out with the salary cap number right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was like $32 million per team over what they expected. Per team.
Yep. Per team.
What does that tell you about how much money this league makes?
Crazy.
You could really change your team a lot with $32 million extra.
Well, we got a question in the Fanatics feedback zone. Play-by-play with JJ, aka Jason Joseph, says, do you believe that Stephen A. Smith is going to leave ESPN? Me? No, because he's getting too much dirty money right now.
Well, he's getting $10 million a year. Why would he leave?
And of course, now he has a YouTube channel, and that's exploded. I don't know how or why. I mean, I don't know how or why.
Listen, I respect Stephen A. for what he does. He went to college in the city I live, and he actually worked where I used to work for a little while. So I knew him very little. I doubt he would even remember me, but I remember him a little bit because we started about the same time.
Yeah.
I doubt he would even remember me. But still, I do respect that. But I do think a lot of times he just wants to hear himself yell.
That's what I believe. That's exactly what I believe. Man, it's stupid to me. That's not. You wonder why I said this a few years ago. You've heard me say it. You've heard me post it. And you wonder why his show failed 3 times.
when he's all over the place on there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the problem over there, where it's nothing but NBA and NFL on ESPN.
They cover nothing else.
For him, boxing or ultimate fighting.
If you want to look at it that way, I mean, we know that Four Letter Network is never going to fix all their problems. They don't want to even look at them.
Well, we're looking at 10 days away from the real opening day, even though technically opening day is on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't even talk about it, I bet you.
We will hear. We will hear.
They're showing games on next Thursday when opening day is, and they won't care the least about it.
Nope.
You watch Get Up and the other show, and then Stephen A. show. They won't say it. I don't watch it either. But I guarantee they won't say a word about baseball.
Nope. And Steven claims to be a Yankee fan. He doesn't talk about it much.
Well, if you watch ESPN, all they talk about is the Yankees and Red Sox. And what have those two teams done recently? Nothing.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
You watch it all the time, and those two teams finished 4th and 5th last year, respectively.
And they were showing everyone.
And they're still showing them like they're going to win a division. No. The Orioles are the best team in the division. I don't care what people say.
Mm-hmm.
They act like the Orioles are going to drop off a cliff. No, they're not.
No, they won't. They won't.
You win 102 games one year, and you got as much talent, if not more, than you did last season, and you got more coming up.
And they barely talked about the Rangers.
No,
barely.
Never.
They never talked about the Rangers, and the Rangers won the damn thing.
Well, their coverage of MLB is so diluted they don't care. And then when you watch the game, I've gotten to the point when I watch their Sunday night games, or even when they have like opening day, I'm sure they'll do the same thing. I can't listen to the announcers because all they talk about is analytics. I don't care.
It's awful.
I just don't care.
Nor do I.
Just talk about the game.
They don't even do that.
So
talk about the game. That's too much like right for them.
I'll just mute it. I cannot deal with that garbage.
I can't either, and I don't. That's why I do it my way. And people think I'm nuts for saying that, but I don't care. I really don't care. You're supposed to call the game, and they don't.
It's nothing but analytics, and it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see with my own eyes what's going on. I don't care what a computer's telling me.
I never did. I abhor analytics.
Oh, me too.
I despise analytics.
And nobody's going to convince me. And I'm not even talking about just baseball. This has become pervasive in every sport.
It has. And
you get a lot of people in these organizations who really are not sports fans or even very knowledgeable about sports. They're either coming from Harvard and Stanford and Yale. They don't know, but they're coming in here with this analytics garbage. And these managers and owners and coaches believe this junk.
I would ask how and why, but I know better than to ask that question.
It's like an NBA game. Why are 5 7-footers shooting 3-pointers all night long?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, why?
How sports has changed.
And there's zero defense in the NBA anymore.
None.
I mean, every game's like 140 to 130 down.
Mm-hmm. And it won't get any better. It just won't get any better. And that's sad.
Nope.
That's absolutely sad that it won't get any better. All right, we got to go. Jay Spivey joining us here on the program, talking everything NCAA and also talking everything that has to do with the deletion of analytics. Please get rid of analytics. Thanks a lot, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I will never in life use analytics for whatever sport I broadcast, be it football, basketball, baseball, or hockey. I never will. I go off of a gut feeling, and I go with what my eyes tell me. My eyes are telling me that we got to get the hell out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. Catch the replay on WJKS as well as WQEE in Atlanta. So long, everybody. Back with more free agent stuff tomorrow. See you then.